Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So, I heard one of my mentors say earlier in the year, I believe I was watching one of her Facebook Lives, and when she was first learning her, what do I want to call it? Tapping into her power, I think is what I want to say. She would get these downloads from spirit, these little nudges and these little conversations. And one of the ones that she had said recently that really stuck with me was, if it's coming through you, it's probably for you. And I just had one of those moments with my children. So if you are at home this summer with your kids, there's a lot of extra energy. You had a rhythm and a routine for part of the year, and now that summer is here, it is a little bit different. It takes some adjustment and some getting used to. And today's energy has been a little bit all over the place. Definitely done some tapping to keep myself in check, to prevent myself from screaming at anybody. Also to just kind of move through the motion without making myself wrong for feeling it. And one thing that increases my frustration level is when I feel like the children are micromanaging me. And by micromanaging me, I mean there is something on the calendar or there's something that they want, and then it's like an onslaught of questions. So, for instance, my 8-year-old has a doctor's appointment this week, and she saw it on the calendar, and then all of a sudden there were 45 questions that she had in regards to this doctor's appointment. And if you've done any work with the masculine and feminine, the feminine is very inquisitive. They ask a lot of questions, right? This is why young children are typically in their feminine more than anything else, regardless of whether they're male or female. And the masculine is the problem solver, so answers the questions. So if you know nothing about motherhood, it's a lot of volleying answers back to these onslaught of questions, right? It just happens. And so it was an onslaught of questions, and I did not want to be in the masculine. I wanted to sink in into my feminine, but without fail, I was trying to sit there and sink in, and it became this onslaught of questions. And I looked at my children and I said, I'm going to need you to stop. Do I do a pretty good job as a mom? And they said, yes. I said, okay, then why are you micromanaging me? Can we please have a little bit more faith? And it was in that moment that I felt ultimate conviction. And God was like, yes, could you micromanage me a little bit less and have a little bit more faith? And I was like, well, shoot. And so here we are. So I that was probably the backstory, but there's even another layer of this backstory. So I started this new Bible study, and I think it's Glow Up with God, I think is what it's called. It's on the Bible app. And this morning was talking about our expectations of God and whether or not we've become complacent and essentially settled. And I really felt myself convicted in that, because life is good. I know it could be better. But there's this subtle, I don't necessarily want to call it a fear, and I think that's probably the easiest term for it. This subtle fear of, shouldn't I just be grateful for where it is? Because if I strive for greatness, is there also the chance to lose all of it as well? And it's balancing those things, right? Because there's that saying that goes around, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. And so how do you continue to stretch yourself to that next level, knowing that it is also simultaneously a greater risk? And it can be challenging to navigate because so much of the world tells us, like, just be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for what you have. But being grateful for what I have doesn't mean that I also can't strive for greatness and the next level and the expansion and whatever it is. And so when I read that this morning, I really felt convicted, and I was immediately pulled to go paddleboarding. And then there was a litany of excuses. Well, it's cold out. I don't really want to go. My son's parked in front of me. Ultimately, I ended up paddleboarding this morning and had this really cool just shift of my energy, because I got there annoyed. I got there annoyed because other people were trying to enjoy my happy place. And so I was annoyed at the presence of other people. And I decided I was just going to paddle until I had paddled through that energy. It didn't take very long. It was probably about 20 minutes, and I had paddled through that energy. And then I had asked for, just for God to show himself, like, show me something to confirm in me that I should increase my expectations in you, was essentially the request. And then if you look at my Instagram stories and my post for today, Tuesday, this is going live almost a week later, so it will be in my not my stories, but in my, whatever that's called, my grid. There was a deer standing in the water eating some leaves. And had I been in that frustrated annoyance energy, I wouldn't have been able to even see him. And it was just this really cool moment where God said, increase your expectation of me. Stop micromanaging me. Have a little bit more faith. As I said those words to my children, I went, oof, okay, got it, right? But it can feel difficult in our humanness to believe that we can expand our expectation and deepen our faith in God, because we constantly compare it to our faith in other people. And the truth is, other people will let you down. And this was also something that had come through the other day. Was as I was paddleboarding, I think I went out on Friday morning, whatever day it was, I went out recently. And as I was paddleboarding, Spirit prompted me to look at the times that God had failed me. And there were none. And then I heard, everything you've prayed for, you've received. And so it's just kind of coupling with this, can you have some more faith? Because there is a stretch, there is a pull, there is an expansion coming, and I can feel my body starting to contract. I can actually feel it right now. My shoulders are starting to tighten, my muscles are starting to contract. I can actually feel the stress in my shoulders currently. And I'm being reminded and encouraged to just breathe through it and stretch into it. And there is no how to do this. There's no 10-step, this is how you expand into the next level, this is how you trust more, this is how you have more faith, this is how you stop micromanaging God or the universe, right? Mother Nature, whichever you prefer. There is no 10-step how-to guide. It is a inner relationship, it's an inner knowing, it is a feeling, it is a deepening, it is intuitive. Illogical, but intuitive. And I really think our society screws up those words, because oftentimes when people say, oh, well, it's counterintuitive. No, it's actually illogical. It doesn't make sense to our mind, but it's 100% intuitive. It's not counterintuitive at all. And so, where can you stop micromanaging and have a bit more faith? Because we were created in God's image. He was not created in ours. So where can you deepen your faith and have a bit more fun with this? Because that was also something that came through this morning, was where can you have fun with this? You're taking life a bit seriously. Where can you have more fun with this? Okay. That's all I have for today. I am sending you so much love. If this episode resonated with you, I would love if you would share it on social media. You can tag me on Instagram at Stephanie Snyder Ph.D, or you can head over to my website, stephaniesnyderphd.com. I would love to connect with you deeper. I would love to further this conversation with you. If you feel like you need support on the next level, on the expansion that you feel coming through, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Even if you wanted to do just a single session, I do offer those breakthrough sessions, or a longer container. They are available, and you were made for greatness. So, I'm sending you so much love. As always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.